Hey there, community. It is Boo. I am behind the camera. We got Rebecca and we got Shaun Gouws as well. Now, Shaun has a interesting way that he got into the industry. Rebecca is not a technical person, and now she's in the cybersecurity industry as well. So we thought we'd allow Rebecca to ask Shaun about how he got into the industry. So I'll flip it over to you, Rebecca.
Hi, Shaun.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm pretty new to the IT industry and cybersecurity and everything else, and I have a pretty boring story. I worked in startups, and then F5 hired me a couple of years ago, but we heard a really interesting story from you, so tell us about it.
So in the beginning, I had no IT background or training. I ended up as a lackey job within a contracting firm for F5, weirdly, in the UK. And that turned into me asking the networking team how I could get their jobs. And they set some stuff up for me, gave me a book, said go and study these things. And 6 months later I had an interview and I landed in the industry, pretty much.
So how hard was it to study with these new concepts? Were you familiar with IT or security at all before? Or did you? I did flashcards. When I first joined F5, I started making flashcards. What was your strategy for learning all these new concepts?
It was questions.
Yeah.
I had a lot of mentors that helped me through the process. And every morning when I came to work, it would be about an hour or two earlier, I would sit and go, I don't understand this concept. And then I would have someone explain it to me and go, oh, that makes sense. And then go away and relearn it.
Yeah.
And it pretty much was just repetition for me.
Yeah. Did you were you talking to customers at the time too? Anything to kind of get you used to talking about these concepts, or just strictly in learning mode?
So, strictly learning mode. I didn't have the opportunity to meet with customers at that point. My customers in IT were the F5 crew, right? So it was just purely talking to the NSE, the network support engineers, and they were the only ones that were helping me initially, until I actually got the role, in which case you start learning way more than you bargained for within F5. And that's where the customer interaction starts, really.
So between when you first started and F5 now, how much more, is it easier to learn about the new products or keep up to date, or is it still pretty, I know the industry changes a lot and that there's always something new to learn. How is that for you?
The foundation of F5 is way easier to conceptually and actually technically learn today. There's so many more resources than there were 15 years ago when I was initially starting. So yeah, it's a lot easier to get into it now. Yes, it's changing, you're right. So there are some harder concepts to get yourself around. However, the easier stuff and the concepts and the actual operating system or F5 functions is a lot easier to get yourself into.
Yeah, absolutely. And if all else fails, you could always go down a YouTube black hole or look at one of Boo's lightboard lessons or any of the other videos on DevCentral too.
What I will say is I have a lot of customers who utilize Boo's lightboard lessons a lot to actually to get what they need from it. And actually the team I'm in now, which is the service delivery management team, utilize that on a monthly basis to introduce new concepts that we haven't yet heard of. So it's not just an external thing.
That's awesome. Thanks for talking to me about it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.